What if the peace you've been searching for your entire life, in your relationships, in your career, in the world outside, has been hiding in the last place you'd ever think to look? What if the chaos you feel isn't a reflection of your life, but a reflection of a world you've been taught to see? For centuries, sages and now scientists have whispered a secret the modern world has tried to drown out. A secret that places the power not in the hands of fate, but in the very fabric of your being. This isn't just another self-help guide. This is a homecoming, a journey back to the sovereign peace that is your birthright. Over the next chapters, we will dismantle the illusions of separation, arm you with forgotten knowledge, and equip you with practical tools to not just find peace, but to become it. Your journey begins now. Chapter 1. The Lie of External Peace. We begin our journey with a single disruptive question. Where have you been looking for peace? I want you to truly sit with that inquiry. Don't just let it bounce off the surface of your mind. Let it sink in. Let it penetrate the layers of your daily routines, your secret hopes, your quiet disappointments. Be brutally, beautifully honest with yourself for a moment. Have you been looking for peace in your bank account, believing with a deep unspoken faith that a certain number, a specific financial threshold, will finally act as a release valve for the pressure that has been building in your chest for years? Have you been searching for it in the approval of others, in the warm glow of a compliment, in the perfect harmonious relationship that promises to make you feel complete and unbroken? Have you been chasing it in the accolades from your career, in the title on your door, in the respect of your peers, convinced that if you can just prove your worth to the world will finally grant you the right to rest? Or perhaps you've placed your bet on the future, on that quiet, serene retirement that waits at the end of a long and weary road, a golden horizon where all your obligations will melt away and peace will finally, naturally, descend upon you like a gentle mist. What if I told you, with all the conviction of someone who has walked every one of those dead-end paths, that every single one of those routes is a detour? What if I told you that seeking peace externally is the spiritual equivalent of trying to quench a profound soul-deep thirst by carefully painting your lips with a fine brush dipped in cool water? It looks like the solution. It seems like it should work. For a fleeting second, the moisture feels real against your skin. You see the shimmer on your lips and you think, this is it, I've found it. But the internal cellular cry for water remains untouched and growing more desperate with every passing day. The fundamental condition of your thirst has not been altered. You have merely decorated the entrance to the parched desert within. This, right here, is the great, pervasive, and culturally sanctioned lie of external peace. It is not a minor misunderstanding. It is a foundational error, a flaw in the operating system of our modern lives. It is a lie that our world, our economy, our very social structures reinforce with every second of every day. Every advertisement that flashes across your screen is a tiny hypnotic whisper of this lie, telling you that peace is one purchase away, contained in a new car, a sharper smartphone, a softer fabric. Every endless, mindless scroll through social media is a symphony of this untruth, a curated gallery of other people's highlight reels that screams, look, they have found peace in their perfect vacation, their happy family photo, their personal achievement. Go and find yours the same way. Every societal benchmark, graduate, get a job, get married, buy a house, have children, retire, is a signpost pointing you relentlessly outward, convincing you that peace is a condition, a state of affairs you achieve, something you acquire, something you earn when the right puzzle pieces of life finally click into place. So we spend our lives, our precious, irreplaceable days, on a frantic, gilded treadmill. We run with determination and even passion towards these glittering finish lines. Our muscles burn, our breath comes in short gasps, and we fix our eyes on the prize and we cross a line. We get the promotion, we marry the person, we buy the house. And for a moment, a beautiful, intoxicating moment, a wave of relief washes over us. We have done it. We have arrived. We step off the treadmill, heart pounding, and we look around, expecting to find ourselves in a new, tranquil landscape. But the feeling is fleeting. It lasts for a day, a week, maybe a month if we are lucky. And then A subtle unease begins to creep back in. We look up and we see it. Another finish line has materialized on the horizon, just as alluring, just as demanding. The treadmill, it turns out, never stopped. We simply paused for a moment. The peace we were promised, the deep, abiding rest we crave, remains perpetually just out of reach, a shimmering mirage that vanishes the moment we get close, leaving only the heat and the dust of our continued striving. This desperate external search is not some new modern affliction born of the digital age. It is the ancient core drama of the human condition. 2,500 years ago, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama sat in a palace of unimaginable luxury. He was surrounded by every external form of peace and security that his time or any time could possibly offer. He had staggering wealth that insulated him from any material worry. He had absolute power that shielded him from the whims of others. He had access to every sensual pleasure, every fine food, every beautiful object, every form of entertainment. He had a beautiful wife and a newborn son, the very picture of familial fulfillment. By every metric our world still uses today, he had it all. He had everything we are told from childhood that we should want. And yet, in the quiet moments between the feasts and the festivities, he was deeply, profoundly, and unshakably restless. A gnawing sense of disquiet lived within him, a silent guest at every banquet. He sensed, with a clarity that would eventually shake the world, that this external perfection was a gilded cage. It was a beautiful, comfortable, and utterly suffocating illusion, masking a deeper, more resonant truth about existence. His peace could not be found in the perfection of his surroundings, because the source of his unease was not in his surroundings at all. His legendary journey, the one that would transform him into the Buddha, the awakened one, began the moment he made the courageous decision to leave the palace, to walk away from every single external guarantee of happiness. He did not find peace by acquiring something new. He found it by realizing the nature of the lie. He found it by turning inward, by ceasing to look for answers in the world of condition, and by looking instead into the very nature of the one who was looking back. And now, in our own time, modern science is beginning to catch up to this ancient intuitive wisdom. Neuroscience has identified what is called the negativity bias of the human brain. This is not a character flaw. It is a hardwired survival mechanism, a gift from our ancestors who lived in a world of immediate physical threats. Their brains needed to be exquisitely tuned to scan the environment constantly for danger, for lack, for what was wrong or missing. A brain that was content, that was fully at peace, was a brain that might miss the rustle in the grass that signaled a predator. This bias is the primal engine of the treadmill. It is the voice that constantly whispers, more, not enough, be careful, what's next? When you finally achieve that external goal, when you get the promotion, your brain releases a hit of dopamine, a neurotransmitter of reward. It feels wonderful. It feels like victory. But the brain, operating on its ancient programming, almost immediately recalibrates. The new status quo becomes the baseline. The dopamine fades, and the brain, ever vigilant, asks, okay, that was good, but how do we consolidate this? How do we get to the next level? What threats are now present to this new position? This biological mechanism, perfectly designed for survival in a harsh and unpredictable world, is catastrophically ill-suited for the cultivation of lasting internal peace. It is a system built for perpetual motion, not for rest. It keeps us locked in a state of chronic wanting, forever orienting ourselves toward the next external thing that we believe will finally, once and for all, make us feel safe, secure, and whole. Well, this external seeking manifests in subtler, more insidious ways than just career and wealth. We seek peace in our relationships, believing that if our partner would just change one specific behavior, our inner turmoil would cease. We outsource our emotional stability to another fallible human being, and we are perpetually disappointed. We seek peace in spirituality itself, hopping from one workshop to the next, collecting certificates and initiations, accumulating techniques and esoteric knowledge, treating inner peace as another commodity to acquire, another badge of honor to display. We seek it in political ideologies, believing that if our side could just win the next election, the nation, and therefore we ourselves, would finally be at peace. We seek it in the past, romanticizing a bygone era we imagine was simpler and more serene. Or we seek it in the future, in the meticulously planned life that never seems to arrive. In all cases, we are looking for a permanent solution in an impermanent, ever-changing world. We are trying to build a house of peace on the shifting sands of external circumstance, and we are perpetually confused and heartbroken when the walls keep cracking and the foundation keeps sinking. So let's do it right now. Let's name the lie for what it is. Let's call it out of the shadows and into the light. Let's speak the truth aloud to ourselves. The peace you crave, the deep, silent, unshakable peace that you sense is your birthright, is not a prize to be won at the end of a competition. It is not a destination you arrive at after a long journey. It is not a conditional state that depends on your relationships, your finances, your health, or the state of the world. The peace you crave is fundamental. It is the very ground of your being. It is the silent, spacious canvas upon which the chaotic, beautiful, and often messy colors of your life are painted. It is not another brushstroke on that canvas. It is the canvas itself. It has been within you all along, as close as your own heartbeat, obscured only by the frantic, desperate, outward-focused search itself. The search itself is the obscuration. Your first task, your most important and courageous mission on this journey, is to consciously, deliberately stop looking for peace out there. It is to turn the blinding, piercing searchlight of your awareness away from the world of conditions, away from the bank statements, the social media feeds, the performance reviews, the ever-changing moods of others, and to direct it inward, toward the source. This is the great turning, the metanoia, the fundamental shift in perception that every true spiritual tradition points to. The journey to the farthest reaches of the universe, to the most profound understanding of existence, begins with a single step. But that step is not outward. It is not a step of acquisition or achievement. It is a step of return. It is the step inward. And that first step is the courageous, revolutionary decision to stop believing the lie. It is the decision to call off the search in the outside world and to begin the exploration of the vast, uncharted, and infinitely peaceful continent within you. This is where your true power resides. This is where the journey of 1,000 miles truly begins, with a single inward breath. Chapter 2. The Anatomy of the Inner Storm. If we are to call off the external search, if we are to turn our awareness inward, we must first understand what we will find there. For many of us, the prospect of looking within is terrifying. We fear that behind the busyness and the noise, we will find only a void, or worse, a raging storm of unresolved pain, chaotic thoughts, and turbulent emotions. We have spent a lifetime running from this inner landscape, papering over its cracks with achievement, numbing its whispers with distraction, and outsourcing its management to the world outside. To now turn and face it feels like the most dangerous thing we could possibly do. But I am here to tell you that this fear is the final guardian at the gate of your own freedom. And the only way through is to understand the storm itself. What is this inner storm, really? It is not a monolithic, malevolent force. It is not a sign that you are broken or flawed. The storm is a complex, layered, and intelligent system. It is composed of three primary elements: your thoughts, your emotions, and the physical sensations in your body. These three are not separate. They are a tightly woven braid of energy, each strand influencing and amplifying the others in a constant dynamic dance. To believe you can find peace by silencing the storm through sheer force of will is like trying to calm the ocean by skimming the waves with a spoon. It is a futile effort that leads only to exhaustion and despair. True mastery comes not from stopping the storm, but from learning its anatomy, understanding its weather patterns, and discovering the profound, unshakable stillness that exists at its very center, the eye from which all the turbulence radiates. Let us begin with the first and most dominant element of the storm, the thinking mind. Your mind is a magnificent instrument. It is a problem-solving supercomputer, a creator of worlds, a weaver of stories, but it has one fundamental default setting that, left unchecked, becomes the primary source of your disquiet. It is a perpetual motion machine. It thinks. That is its job. From the moment you wake to the moment you fall asleep, And often deep into your dreams, it generates a relentless stream of thoughts, commentary, judgments, plans, and worries. This stream is what the ancient traditions called the monkey mind, chattering, swinging from branch to branch, never at rest. Most of us live under a silent, unspoken dictatorship of this thought stream. We believe our thoughts. We are fused with them. When the mind produces a thought like, "I'm not good enough," we don't hear it as a passing mental event. We experience it as a statement of fact, a truth about our fundamental identity. This is the core of the suffering. The thought itself is just a whisper of energy, a sentence fragment. The pain comes from our unconscious immediate agreement with it. We then build an entire reality around that single thought. We gather evidence from our past to support it. We project it into our future as a prophecy. We feel the corresponding emotion, shame, anxiety, and we tense our bodies in response. A single, fleeting, and often completely irrational thought has now generated a full-blown emotional and physical storm, and we are so identified with this process that we never stop to question the original thought. We are the sky, believing itself to be the weathers. Modern cognitive science and psychology have mapped this process beautifully. Cognitive behavioral therapy, for instance, is built entirely on the principle that it is not events that disturb us, but the interpretations and thoughts we have about those events. A situation is neutral. Your mind applies a narrative to it. That narrative, not the situation itself, is what generates your emotional response. If your boss passes you in the hallway without making eye contact, your mind can generate a dozen stories. "He's angry with me. I must have done something wrong. My job is in jeopardy." This story will trigger a cascade of anxiety, a knot in your stomach, and a day ruined by worry. Another story is equally plausible. "He's preoccupied with the big presentation. He didn't even see me." This story produces no storm. The event was identical. The only variable was the thought you chose to believe. Your mind is a meaning-making machine, and it is often a faulty one, biased by past hurts and future fears. Until you learn to separate yourself from its constant, often inaccurate commentary, you will be a prisoner to its whims, mistaking the map it draws for the actual territory of your life. The second element of the storm is the emotional body. Emotions are energy in motion. They are the body's raw, visceral response to the thoughts generated by the mind. If a thought is the spark, the emotion is the resulting flame. And like fire, emotions are not inherently bad. Anger can be a powerful force for setting boundaries. Sadness can be a deep, cleansing river of release. Fear can be a life-saving signal. The problem is not the emotion itself, but our relationship to it. We have been taught to either repress our emotions, to stuff them down, to pretend they aren't there, or to express them uncontrollably, to be swept away by their tidal force. Both are forms of resistance. Repression is like trying to hold a beach ball under water. It takes immense continuous energy, and the moment you relax, it explodes to the surface with unpredictable force. Uncontrolled expression is like being that beach ball tossed by every wave, with no anchor or agency. When a powerful emotion like anxiety or rage arises, we tend to contract around it. We clench. We tell ourselves stories about the emotion. "This is terrible. I shouldn't feel this way. I have to make this stop." This resistance creates a secondary layer of suffering. The primary pain is the raw energy of the emotion. The secondary pain is the story of how wrong it is to feel that way, the tension in your muscles as you fight it, the shame that follows. You are no longer just feeling anxiety, you are now feeling anxious about your anxiety. This is the storm feeding itself, creating a vortex of suffering that can feel inescapable. Your emotions are not the enemy. They are a profound and intelligent guidance system, a language of the soul. They are meant to be felt, to be acknowledged, to move through you. But when you are fused with the thinking mind that labels them as good or bad, you lose the capacity to sit with them, to learn from them, to allow them their natural lifespan without being consumed by them. The third and most overlooked element of the storm is the physical body. Your body is the final repository for all of this internal activity. It is the ground where the thoughts and emotions land. Every stressful thought, every unresolved emotion leaves a residue in the physical form. It becomes tension in your shoulders, a knot in your stomach, a tightness in your jaw, a shallow breath in your chest. We carry the entire history of our unresolved storms in our musculature and our nervous system. This is what we call somatic memory. Your body is a living, breathing record of every argument you never finished, every fear you never faced, every grief you never expressed. The nervous system is the key player here. It has two primary gears for dealing with the world: the sympathetic state, fight or flight, and the parasympathetic state, rest and digest. When your mind generates a threatening thought or your emotions surge with fear, your sympathetic nervous system is activated. Cortisol and adrenaline flood your body. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, your digestion shuts down. This is a brilliant system for outrunning a predator. But in our modern world, the predators are constant. A demanding email, a traffic jam, a worrying news headline. For many of us, the sympathetic nervous system is chronically low-level activated. We live in a state of persistent background emergency. This is the physical substrate of the inner storm. It is a state of physiological wariness, a body perpetually braced for a blow that never quite lands, but whose anticipation is exhausting every cell. Peace, on a physical level, is the capacity to consciously downshift the nervous system out of this hyper-aroused state and into the parasympathetic state, the state of restoration, repair, and deep calm. So here we have the perfect self-reinforcing trinity of the storm. A thought generates an emotion which triggers a physiological stress response in the body. The tense, agitated body then sends signals back to the brain that say, something is wrong, be on alert, which in turn generates more anxious thoughts and more turbulent emotions. It is a closed feedback loop of suffering. We are trapped in a room where the walls are mirrors, reflecting and amplifying our own distress infinitely. But there is a way out. The exit is not through breaking the mirrors, but through introducing a new element into the room, a conscious witnessing presence. This is the first and most critical practice on the journey to inner peace. It is the foundation upon which everything else is built. It is the simple yet profound act of shifting from being in the storm to being the awareness of the storm. I want you to try this right now as you listen. Don't wait for a quiet moment. The storm is present now. Bring your attention to your thoughts. Instead of getting lost in the content of the thought as if you were watching a movie, I want you to notice that you are having thoughts. It's a subtle but revolutionary shift. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who is aware of your thoughts. See if you can listen to your own mental commentary as if it were a radio playing in another room. You can hear the broadcast, but you are not the broadcast. You are the one listening. Now, bring your attention to your emotions. Is there a feeling present? Anxiety, restlessness, calm? Instead of labeling it as my anxiety and contracting around it, see if you can simply acknowledge the sensation. There is a feeling of tightness. There is a fluttery energy. Feel the raw physical data of the emotion without the story about what it means or why it's there. You are not the emotion. You are the space in which the emotion is arising and in time will pass away. Finally, bring your attention into your body. Feel the physical sensations, the weight of your body in your chair, the air on your skin, the subtle tension in your forehead or your shoulders. Don't try to change it, just feel it. You are not the tension. You are the awareness that can feel the tension. In this simple act of triangulating your attention, observing thoughts, feeling emotions, sensing the body, you have done something miraculous. You have, for a moment, stepped out of the trinity of the storm. You have introduced a fourth element, the observer, the witness, the conscious you that is prior to thought, emotion, and sensation. This is not a new thing you have created. This is the fundamental essence of who you are. It is the silent, spacious canvas. It is the eye of the hurricane. The storm may continue to rage around this center. Thoughts will still come. Emotions will still rise and fall. The body will still hold its tensions. But you are no longer blindly identified with it all. You are no longer the kite being tossed by the wind. You have found the hand that holds the string. This shift in identity, from the content of your experience to the context of awareness itself, is the single most important discovery you will make on this journey. It is the master key that unlocks the door to the peace that has been within you all along. The storm loses its power to define you the moment you realize you are the sky, vast and unchanging, in which the storm is merely happening. This is not the end of the work, but the glorious, empowering beginning. Chapter 3, The Observer, Becoming the Sky, Not the Weather. In the last chapter, We mapped the anatomy of the inner storm. We identified its three core components: the relentless cascade of thoughts, the tidal flow of emotions, and the physical tension held in the body. We saw how they feed into one another, creating a self-perpetuating loop of unease, and we ended with a single revolutionary proposition: that the way out of this suffering is not to fight the storm, but to discover the part of you that exists outside of it. We called this the observer, the witness, the conscious awareness that can watch the storm without being swept away by it. Now we must go deeper. We must explore this observer, this foundational you, because understanding it is the pivotal moment where theory becomes lived reality, where seeking turns into finding. Who or what is this observer? It is the most familiar and yet the most mysterious aspect of your being. It is the silent, constant presence that has been with you your entire life. Think back to your earliest memory. There was the event itself, the feeling of the sun, the sound of a voice, the color of a room, and then there was the one who was experiencing that event. That experiencer is the same you that is listening to my voice right now. The body you had then has changed every single cell. The thoughts you had then are long forgotten. The emotions you felt then have risen and fallen countless times. But the awareness that witnessed it all, that has remained constant and unchanging, it is the one thread that runs through the entire tapestry of your life. It was there in your childhood joy, your teenage heartbreak, your adult ambitions. It is there when you are happy and when you are sad. It is the background consciousness against which every foreground event of your life plays out. This is what the great spiritual traditions have pointed to with words like Atman, Buddha, nature, spirit, or the unconditioned self. It is not a thing you possess, it is what you are, prior to all possessions and identities. It is the sky, and your thoughts, feelings, and sensations are the weather. The weather changes, storms rage, clouds drift, sunshine beams down, but the sky itself remains untouched, vast, and inherently peaceful. Your fundamental error, the root of all your inner conflict, has been a case of mistaken identity. You have spent your life believing you are the weather. You have said, "I am angry," when in truth, a storm of anger is passing through the sky of your awareness. You have declared, "I am a failure," when in truth, a dark cloud of a thought is obscuring the sky. The moment you shift your identity from the passing weather to the stable sky, your entire relationship with life transforms. The storm no longer threatens your existence. It is merely a temporary phenomenon happening within you. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is a psychological and phenomenological fact that you can verify for yourself right now. Let's engage in a simple exploration. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. Take a deep breath. Now, I want you to try to find yourself. Where are you? Most people, when they do this, point to their head behind their eyes. That feels like the command center. But is that really you? That's just a location in the body, a collection of sensations. Is that the entirety of who you are? Now try to locate your thoughts. Where do they come from? Can you find their point of origin? You can't. They simply appear, as if from nowhere, into the field of your awareness. You can watch them come and go. If you can watch your thoughts, then you cannot be your thoughts because you need something separate to observe them. The watcher cannot be the watched. Now, try to locate your emotions. Where is sadness? You might feel a pressure in your chest, a tightness in your throat. But are you that pressure, or are you the one who is aware of the pressure? The sensation is an object in your awareness. You are the subject, the space in which the object appears. Finally, try to locate the observer itself. Where is this awareness? You can't find it, can you? You can't point to it. It has no location, no shape, no color, no texture. It is not a thing. It is the no thing that allows all things to be known. It is the silent, invisible screen upon which the movie of your life is projected. The screen is not the images of drama, comedy, or tragedy that flash across it. The screen is the constant, allowing presence. You are that screen. This realization is the core of true empowerment. When you are identified as the weather, as your thoughts and emotions, you are a victim of circumstance. A critical comment from a coworker can send you into a tailspin for days. A traffic jam can ruin your morning. Your inner state is at the mercy of 1,000 external variables you cannot control. It is a precarious and exhausting way to live. But when you anchor your identity as the sky, as the conscious awareness, you reclaim your sovereignty. The external events don't stop happening. The critical comment still occurs. The traffic jam still exists. But now there is a space between the event and your reaction. In that space lies your freedom and your power. You can notice the thought, "He thinks I'm incompetent," arise. You can feel the flush of shame in your body. But because you are identified as the sky, you are not compelled to believe the thought or be consumed by the shame. You can simply watch it, acknowledge it, and let it pass like a cloud. You are no longer a puppet being jerked around by the strings of external stimuli. You are the conscious operator of your own inner world. This shift is the essence of psychological resilience. Trauma, for instance, occurs when a painful experience is so overwhelming that the sense of being a conscious observer collapses. The person becomes fused with the terror, the pain, the helplessness. There is no space. Healing from trauma is, at its core, the slow, gentle process of re-establishing that observing self, of creating enough internal space so that the traumatic memory can be held in awareness without consuming the individual. The memory remains, but the person is no longer the memory, they are the one who holds it. This is the difference between being a wound and having a wound. The observer is the part of you that is inherently whole, unbroken, and untouched by any wounding. How do we cultivate this? How do we strengthen our identity as the sky, especially when the storms of life are particularly violent? It is not a one-time realization, but a daily moment-to-moment practice of remembering. It is a mental muscle that must be exercised. The primary gym for this muscle is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness is simply the intentional, non-judgmental focus of your attention on the present moment. It is the practical application of being the observer. Let's begin with a foundational practice, one you can weave into the fabric of your day. I call it the pause. You don't need a quiet room or a special cushion. You can do it right now, and you can do it a dozen times today. The practice. Stop. Whatever you are doing, just stop for a single breath. If you are walking, pause mid-step. If you are typing, let your hands rest. If you are talking, allow a moment of silence. Breathe. Take one conscious full breath. Feel the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and the gentle release as you exhale. The breath is your anchor to the present moment. Expand. On that single breath, expand your awareness to include your whole body. Feel your feet on the floor, the clothes on your skin, the air temperature. Notice the overall state of your inner weather. Is it calm, stormy? Just notice. Don't judge. Silently ask yourself, in this moment, am I the storm or am I the sky? This is not an intellectual question. It is a felt sense. Remind yourself that you are the vast, open awareness in which this entire moment, the sounds, the sensations, the thoughts, is unfolding. Proceed. Continue with your activity, carrying this expanded sense of awareness with you. This practice might seem insignificantly small, but its power is cumulative. Each pause is a stitch that sews your identity back into the fabric of the observer. It is a momentary homecoming. Over time, these moments begin to string together, creating a new default setting for your consciousness. You will start to catch yourself more quickly when you get lost in a thought loop or swept away by an emotion. You will begin to live from the sky, not just visit it during meditation. The journey to inner peace is not about creating a life with no storms. That is an impossible and childish fantasy. The journey is about building a home so stable, so rooted in the truth of who you are, that when the storms come, and they will, you can sit at the center, in the eye of the hurricane, and watch the wind and rain with a calm heart, knowing that this too shall pass, and that the essence of you, the silent, witnessing sky, remains forever untouched. This is not passive resignation. It is the ultimate form of active, sovereign power. You are now ready to learn how to clean the sky, to release the old weather patterns that have clouded your vision for a lifetime. Chapter 4. The Anchor and the Ocean, a practice in embodied presence. We have made a profound distinction. We have separated the weather, the ever-changing chaos of thought and emotion, from the sky and the silent, observing awareness that is your true nature. This is the fundamental insight. But for most of us, this insight is fleeting. We have a glimpse of the sky on a quiet morning or during a moment of meditation, only to be swallowed whole hours later by a storm of anxiety about a work deadline or a conflict with a loved one. The intellectual understanding is there, but the lived experience remains elusive. The storm feels more real, more immediate, more powerful than the distant, abstract concept of the sky. So how do we make the sky our home? How do we move from merely knowing about the observer to stably inhabiting the observer? The bridge between this knowing and this being is built through a single critical and often overlooked element, the body. Your body is the missing link. It is the interface between the formless awareness that you are and the world of form that you experience. It is the anchor that can hold you steady in the turbulent ocean of your mind. To try and reside as pure formless awareness is like trying to grasp smoke. It is too subtle, too vast for a mind accustomed to objects and sensations. But the body is here. It is tangible. It is dense with sensation. It is your personal, portable piece of the physical universe, and it is always, without exception, happening in the present moment. Your mind can be lost in the past, riddled with regret. Your mind can be projected into the future, buzzing with anxiety. But your body is always, irrevocably, here. It is breathing now. Its heart is beating now. Its feet are on the ground now. Therefore, the most direct and powerful way to pull yourself out of the storm of your mind and into the peace of the present moment is to plunge your awareness fully into the felt experience of the body. This is the practice of embodied presence. Think of it this way. You are the vast, boundless ocean. Your thoughts and emotions are the waves on the surface, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, sometimes crashing violently against the shore. The problem is that you have been living your entire life identified with the waves, tossed up and down, believing the drama on the surface to be the whole of your reality. You have forgotten the profound, silent, stable depths that lie beneath. The body is not the depths, but it is the anchor that can tether your consciousness to those depths, preventing it from being swept away by every surface disturbance. When you feel a wave of panic beginning to form, you don't try to stop the wave. You drop your anchor, you sink your awareness beneath the surface chaos and into the solid sensory reality of the physical form. The wave may still be there, but you are no longer at its mercy. You are held by something deeper, something immovable. This is not a bypass. This is not about transcending the body or denying its sensations. This is the exact opposite. It is about descending fully into the body with such profound acceptance that the body itself becomes the gateway to the transcendent peace you seek. The great irony of the spiritual search is that we look for heaven, for nirvana, for some distant state of bliss, while ignoring the very ground it is built upon. Your body is that ground. The peace you seek is not out there in a thought, and it is not up there in a disembodied state of bliss. It is buried like a treasure chest in the very center of your physical being, waiting for you to stop searching and start feeling. So let us learn to feel. Let us learn to drop the anchor. We will do this through a powerful foundational practice that forms the bedrock of inner stability. It is a practice that uses the most constant rhythmic process in your body, the breath, as a handle for your awareness, and then expands that awareness to include the entire physical vessel. This practice is often called a body scan or somatic awareness, but I prefer to call it the anchor practice. You will need about 10 to 15 minutes for this. If you can, stop listening for a moment and actually do this. Let the words guide you, but let your direct experience be the teacher. The practice, the anchor. Find a comfortable position, either sitting upright in a chair with your feet flat on the floor or lying down on your back. Allow your eyes to close. Take a moment to just be here, making the transition from doing to being. Now, bring your attention to the sound of my voice, and then let it go, and turn your attention inward. Begin by noticing your breath. Don't try to change it or control it. Just observe it. Feel the cool air as it enters your nostrils. Feel the slight pause at the top of the inhalation. Feel the warmer air as it leaves your body on the exhalation. Feel the gentle fall of your chest and belly as you empty your lungs. Your breath is a constant, life-giving rhythm. It is an anchor line that is always available to you. Spend a few cycles of breath just resting your awareness on this simple, natural process. Now, on your next inhalation, imagine your breath is not just filling your lungs, but that it can travel down deep into the center of your body, to a point about 2 inches below your navel. This area, known in Japanese traditions as the hara and in Chinese as the dantian, is your physical center of gravity. It is the core of your stability. As you breathe in, feel as if you are gathering your awareness and sending it down into this low center in your belly. As you breathe out, feel a sense of settling, of grounding, of releasing all tension down into the earth through this center. With each inhale, gather. With each exhale, settle. Your mind may wander. This is normal and expected. When you notice it has wandered gently, without any judgment, guide your attention back to the feeling of the breath in your low belly. This is not a failure. This is the practice. Each return is a rep, a strengthening of your anchor. Now, we are going to expand this anchored awareness. We will take a journey through the body, not to change anything, but simply to feel what is already there. Bring your awareness down into your feet. Feel the simple, undeniable fact of your feet inside your socks or shoes. Feel the pressure of the floor against your soles. Can you feel a subtle buzzing aliveness in your toes, the arches, your heels? Don't visualize your feet, feel them from the inside. If there is numbness, feel the numbness. If there is warmth, feel the warmth. Just feel. Now, slowly allow this feeling awareness to rise up into your ankles, your lower legs, your knees, and your thighs. Feel the weight of your legs. Feel the contact of your clothing against your skin. Feel the muscles resting, supported by the chair or the floor. Your legs are pillars of support, connecting you to the ground. Acknowledge them. Feel them. Move your awareness now into your pelvis, your hips, your low back, and your abdomen. Feel the solid, grounded quality of this part of your body. This is your root, your foundation. Feel the gentle, rhythmic movement of your breath in your belly. Notice any sensations here, warmth, tightness, stillness. Just notice, and let your awareness now rise into your chest and upper back. Feel your heart beating. Feel the rise and fall of your ribcage with each breath. This is the center of your emotional life. Can you feel the space in your chest without trying to fill it with anything? Can you simply be with the raw sensations here without labeling them as good or bad? Bring your attention into your shoulders, your arms, your hands, and all the way down to your fingertips. Feel the life in your hands, the potential for touch, for creation, for connection that resides there. Feel the air on your skin. Finally, gently bring your awareness into your neck, your jaw, your face, and the crown of your head. Feel the subtle muscles around your eyes. Feel your lips. Feel the weight of your head being supported. Notice any tension, and instead of fighting it, imagine your breath could flow into that area. Not to force it to relax, but simply to bring the warmth of your awareness to it. Now take one more deep breath, and on the exhale, expand your awareness to include your entire body all at once. Feel the whole living, breathing, vibrating field of sensation that is your physical form. Feel yourself as a single, unified organism, pulsing with life from the soles of your feet to the crown of your head. You are not just in a body. You are this body, right now, in this moment. Rest here for a few moments, in this full embodied awareness. You are the ocean, feeling the entire depth of itself, not just the waves on the surface. The mind may still be chattering, but it feels distant now, like a radio playing in another room. The primary reality is this dense, peaceful sensory aliveness. This is the anchor practice. This is your home base. When you feel the winds of anxiety beginning to blow, you do not have to follow them into the storm. You can drop this anchor. You can take 3 conscious breaths into your low belly. You can feel your feet on the floor. You can come back into the sensory reality of the present moment. This is not avoiding your problems. It is centering yourself so you can address them from a place of power, not panic. The body, your faithful anchor, is always here, waiting to bring you home to the peace of the present, to the depths of your own being. This is the end of seeking outside. This is the beginning of knowing within. Chapter 5. The Sanctuary of the Senses, Reclaiming the Present Moment. We have built an anchor. We have discovered that the body is not a burden to be transcended, but a gateway to be entered. Through the practice of embodied presence, we have learned to find a stable foothold in the midst of the inner storm. But the storm is cunning. It has a powerful ally, one that we have unwittingly empowered for our entire lives. The time-traveling, story-spinning, relentless thinking mind. To truly inhabit the peace that is our birthright, we must now learn to master our relationship with time itself. We must learn to close the portals to the past and the future, and to fully reclaim the only place where life is ever actually happening, the eternal sanctuary of the present moment. Your mind is a time machine. It is a brilliant but flawed instrument that spends almost all of its energy either reliving the past or rehearsing the future. It digs up old conversations and rewrites them with better comebacks. It catalogues past failures and wears them as a prophecy. It then projects itself into an imaginary future, constructing elaborate scenarios of everything that could possibly go wrong or everything that must go right for you to be happy. This constant temporal shuttling is the primary engine of your anxiety, your regret, your fear. You are being psychologically pulled apart. A part of you is stuck in a memory. Part of you is lost in a daydream, and only a ghost of you is left to inhabit the actual living reality of now. Peace is not possible when you are fractured in this way. Peace requires integration. It requires that all of you, your awareness, your energy, your life force, comes home to the one moment you can ever truly possess, this one. The present moment has been terribly misrepresented. We think of it as a narrow, insignificant sliver on the timeline, a fleeting point between the vast, important continents of the past and the future. This is an illusion. The present moment is not a point on the line is drawn within the present moment. All of your memories of the past are happening as a thought now. All of your imaginations of the future are happening as a thought now. The past and future are mental concepts appearing in the eternal now. The present is not a sliver, it is the vast, open space of consciousness itself. It is the canvas, and time is just one of the paintings. When you are lost in regret, you are not actually in the past. You are in the present moment, experiencing a very painful, vivid thought about the past. When you are consumed by anxiety, you are not in the future. You are in the present moment, torturing yourself with a frightening mental movie. The suffering is always occurring now, and therefore the solution must also be found now. So how do we dismantle the time machine? How do we recall our scattered energy from the phantom zones of past and future? We cannot do it by force. You cannot command your mind to stop thinking about the past. That is like commanding the ocean to stop being wet. The mind's nature is to think. The solution is more elegant, more immediate, and far more powerful. You must outshine the past and future with the sheer, vibrant, undeniable reality of the present moment. And the gateway to this reality is not through thinking, but through sensing. Your 5 senses are the 5 doors into the sanctuary of the now. While your mind is lost in a story about yesterday or tomorrow, your senses are perpetually reporting live from the front lines of reality. The coolness of the glass in your hand, the hum of the computer fan, the play of light and shadow on the wall, the faint scent of coffee in the air. These are the facts of this moment. They are simple, direct, and uncontaminated by story. A thought says, "My presentation tomorrow is going to be a disaster." This is a story, a speculation, a phantom. It creates a knot in your stomach and a tightness in your chest. But the sensory fact of this moment is, there is a sensation of tightness in my stomach. There is the sound of a distant siren. There is the feeling of my breath moving in and out. The story is a complex, self-referential loop of suffering. The sensory reality is simple, clean, and immediate. By shifting your focus from the story to the sensation, you perform a kind of psychological alchemy. You transmute the leaden weight of mental anxiety into the gold of present moment awareness. This is the core of the practice I call sense grounding. It is an emergency protocol and a daily hygiene for the soul. It is how you defuse from the time machine and plant your feet firmly on the solid ground of what is real, right here, right now. The practice, sense grounding. You can do this practice anywhere, at any time. No one will know you are doing it. It can be done in the middle of a stressful meeting while stuck in traffic, or when you lie awake at night with a racing mind. The more you practice it in calm moments, the more accessible it will be in stormy ones. Step 1. Acknowledge and pause. The first step is to simply notice that you have been hijacked by the time machine. You might feel the familiar signs: a tight chest, shallow breathing, a frantic mental energy. The moment you notice this, say to yourself gently, "Ah, I am time traveling." This simple acknowledgement is an act of the observer. It creates the first crack of space. Step 2. Drop the anchor. As we learned in the last chapter, immediately bring your awareness into your body. Feel your feet firmly on the floor. Take one deep breath into your low belly. This brings you out of the abstract world of thought and into the physical world. Step 3. The Five Senses Inventory. Now we will systematically scan the present moment through the 5 portals of your senses. Move through them deliberately. Sight. Look around you. Don't label or judge what you see. Instead, drink in the raw visual data. Notice 5 things you can see. Not the concepts of the things, but their colors, shapes, and textures. The grain of the wood on your desk, the subtle gradient of blue in the sky outside your window, the way the light reflects off your pen, the intricate pattern on a leaf of a plant, the specific hue of the paint on the wall. Let your eyes rest on each thing for a moment, absorbing its pure visual presence without the mental commentary. Touch. Bring your awareness to your sense of touch. Notice 4 things you can feel: the cool, smooth surface of your phone, the soft texture of your clothing against your skin, the firm support of the chair beneath you, the air perhaps slightly cool or warm on your face and hands. Feel into the subtle buzzing aliveness inside your hands themselves. Hearing. Now, open your awareness to sound. Listen without labeling or judging the sources. Notice 3 things you can hear: the faint hum of the refrigerator, the distant sound of a bird singing, the rustle of your own clothing as you move slightly, the sound of my voice, not as words with meaning, but as vibrations in the air. Listen to the silence that exists in the spaces between the sounds. Smell. Bring your attention to your sense of smell. Notice 2 things you can smell. It might be subtle: the clean scent of laundry on your shirt, the residual aroma of your last meal, the smell of rain on concrete or freshly cut grass coming through an open window. If you can't smell anything, notice the simple, clean scent of the air itself. Taste. Finally, bring your awareness to your sense of taste. Notice 1 thing you can taste. Run your tongue over your teeth and the inside of your mouth. What is the lingering taste? Perhaps the aftertaste of coffee or toothpaste or your last meal. If there is no distinct taste, simply notice the neutral, clean taste of your own mouth. This entire process can take less than 60 seconds. But in that minute, you have performed a miracle. You have withdrawn your life force from the abstract, painful worlds of memory and imagination and reinvested it fully in the sensory-rich reality of the present. The mental movies may still be trying to play in the background, but they have lost their funding. They have lost your attention, which is your energy. You are no longer a captive audience to your own anxiety. The peace you find in this practice is not the peace of a solved problem. The presentation tomorrow may still be a challenge. The past mistake may still have happened. But you are now facing that reality from a place of centered power, not fragmented panic. You are dealing with the facts of your life from the only place where action is ever possible: the present moment. The past is gone. The future is not here. All you ever have is this now. And when you fully inhabit this now, you discover that it is not lacking, not insufficient. It is whole, complete, and contains within it all the resources you need to take the next single step. This is the sanctuary of the senses. This is your true home in time. And the key to this home is not a complex philosophy, but the simple, profound act of listening, looking, feeling, tasting, and smelling the incredible gift of the world that is right in front of you, waiting to be experienced anew in this and every moment. Chapter 6. The Alchemy of Attention, Transforming Your Inner World. We have learned to anchor ourselves in the body and to seek refuge in the sanctuary of the present moment through our senses. These are monumental achievements. They are the foundational practices that allow us to step out of the storm and find a place of rest. But what do we do with the storm itself? Is our only option to hide from the rain and wait for it to pass? Or is there a way to actually befriend the weather, to learn from it, and perhaps even to use its raw, chaotic energy for our own growth and transformation? This chapter is about moving from a posture of resistance to a practice of alchemy. It is about learning the art of transforming the lead of painful emotions into the gold of conscious awareness. For most of our lives, we have been taught that certain emotions are bad. Anger, fear, sadness, jealousy, these are states to be avoided, suppressed, or quickly discharged. We see them as enemies of peace, as proof that we are not enlightened or spiritually evolved, so we develop sophisticated strategies to manage them. We numb them with food, entertainment, or substances. We project them onto other people, making them the cause of our displeasure. We bury them deep in our bodies, where they fester as tension, illness, and chronic fatigue. This entire framework is based on a fundamental misunderstanding. An emotion is not the problem. The problem is our relationship to the emotion. Let us redefine what an emotion is from the perspective of the observer. An emotion is not who you are. It is not a permanent state. An emotion is a temporary energetic event in your inner landscape. It is a surge of information, a message from the deepest parts of your being, trying to communicate something vital to the conscious you. Anger might be a signal that a boundary has been crossed. Sadness might be the heart's natural process of release after a loss. Fear might be an alert system pointing to a perceived threat, real or imagined. When you label these energies as bad and try to get rid of them, you are like a person trying to silence a fire alarm by cutting the wires. You haven't addressed the fire, you've just disabled the system designed to save you. The alternative to resistance is not expression or suppression, it is attunement. It is the practice of bringing a curious, gentle, and allowing attention to the emotion itself. This is the alchemy. The base metal is the raw, undigested energy of the emotion. The philosopher's stone that transmutes it is your own loving awareness. When you shine the light of your conscious attention onto a feeling without judgment, something miraculous happens. The emotion, which was a tangled, overwhelming knot of energy, begins to unfurl. It reveals its message. It moves through you. It completes its natural life cycle. It is seen, heard, and felt, and in that process, it loses its power to possess you. It transforms from a master into a messenger. This requires a radical shift in orientation. Instead of saying, "I am angry," which fuses your identity with the storm, you learn to say, "There is anger here," and you are the sky, noticing a weather pattern. Instead of asking, "How do I get rid of this fear?" you learn to ask, "Where do I feel this fear in my body? What is it trying to tell me?" This shifts you from a state of powerlessness to a state of empowered inquiry. You are no longer a victim of your emotions. You are an investigator of your own inner world. The gateway to this alchemical process is once again the body. Emotions are not abstract concepts, they are physical experiences. Anger might be a hot, tight sensation in your chest and jaw. Fear might be a cold, fluttering feeling in your belly. Grief might be a heavy, aching pressure in your throat and heart. By locating the emotion in the body, you give your awareness a specific, tangible place to focus. You move out of the story about the emotion, "I'm angry because he disrespected me," and into the raw sensation of the emotion itself. There is a sensation of heat and pressure in my chest. Let us now learn the core practice of emotional alchemy. This is a more advanced form of the anchor practice, designed specifically for working with intense or difficult feelings. I call it the welcoming practice. The welcoming. This practice is best done when you have a few minutes of privacy and will not be interrupted. You can sit or lie down. Step 1. Acknowledge and pause. When you notice a strong, difficult emotion arising, pause. Take a conscious breath. Gently acknowledge what is present without judgment. You can say silently, "Hello, anger, I feel you here," or "There is sadness." Naming the emotion helps to create a space between you and it. You are not denying its presence, you are acknowledging it as a guest in your field of awareness. Step 2. Locate the sensation. Gently ask yourself, where do I feel this most strongly in my body? Don't think about it too much. Let your awareness scan the body and be drawn to the area of greatest intensity. It might be a knot in the stomach, a tightness in the throat, a pressure in the head, a buzzing in the hands. Bring your attention to that specific location. Step 3. Breathe and feel. Now, direct your breath into that area. You are not breathing to make the sensation go away. You are breathing to bring the warmth of your awareness to it. Imagine your breath flowing directly into and around the sensation. As you breathe, simply feel the raw physical data. What are its qualities? Is it hot or cold? Is it vibrating or still? Is it sharp or dull? And is it dense or diffuse? Does it have a color or texture in your mind's eye? Investigate the sensation with gentle curiosity, as if you were a scientist discovering a new phenomenon. Drop any story about why the sensation is there or what it means. Just feel the pure sensation itself. Step 4. Allow and expand. This is the most critical step. As you feel the sensation, you may notice a natural tendency to clench, to resist, to contract away from it. See if you can consciously soften around it. Instead of tightening the muscles around the sensation, imagine you are creating a wide open space for it to exist. You can silently offer it phrases of allowance. It's okay, you can be here. I have room for this. I allow this sensation to be exactly as it is. This is not resignation. This is profound acceptance. You are not agreeing with the story that triggered the emotion. You are simply allowing the energetic reality of the emotion to be present without resistance. You are dropping the war with your own inner experience. Step 5. Listen and inquire. After spending some time simply allowing the sensation, you can gently ask it a question. This may feel strange at first, but approach it with an open mind. Silently, from your heart, ask the sensation, what do you need, or what are you trying to show me, and then become very quiet and listen. Don't try to force an answer from your thinking mind. Wait for a felt sense, an image, or a word to arise from the sensation itself. The answer might not be intellectual. It might be a need for safety, for expression, for comfort, for a boundary to be set. Trust whatever arises. Act. Step 6. Thank and release. Once you feel a sense of completion, the sensation may have shifted, softened, or simply feels acknowledged. Thank the emotion for its message. Thank you for showing me what I needed to see. Then gently release your focused attention. Bring your awareness back to your whole body, feeling the anchor of your breath and the support of the ground beneath you. The goal of the welcoming practice is not to make the emotion vanish instantly, though that can sometimes happen. The goal is to change your relationship with it. You have taken a chaotic, frightening energy and brought it into the light of your consciousness. You have listened to its message. You have allowed it to move. In doing so, you have integrated a piece of your shadow self. You have reclaimed energy that was previously tied up in resistance. This is the true meaning of empowerment. It is not a state of having no fear, no anger, no sadness. It is a state of having a conscious, compassionate, and skillful relationship with all parts of your human experience. You are no longer at war with your own inner world. You are the alchemist in your own laboratory, learning to work with all elements, knowing that even the darkest, heaviest metals have within them the potential for gold. This is the journey from fragmentation to wholeness, and it begins with the courageous, simple, and revolutionary act of saying to your most difficult feelings, "Welcome, I have been waiting to listen." Chapter 7. The Silent Symphony, Uncovering the Peace That Passes Understanding. We have journeyed far. We have learned to anchor in the body, to seek refuge in the senses, and to perform the alchemy of welcoming our most challenging emotions. We have developed a robust toolkit for navigating the inner world, but a critical question remains. Is this all there is? Is peace merely the successful management of chaos? Is it just the quiet space between storms? A temporary ceasefire in the perpetual conflict of being human? Or is there something more, a peace that is not dependent on circumstances, not contingent on your skill in meditation, not a state you achieve, but a fundamental ground of being that has been there all along, waiting to be uncovered? This chapter is about that deeper peace, the peace that passes all understanding, the silent symphony playing beneath the noise of your life. Everything we have practiced so far has been a process of purification. It has been about clearing the debris, calming the waves, and cleaning the window. The anchor practice clears the debris of disembodied, frantic energy. The sense-grounding practice calms the waves of time-traveling thought. The welcoming practice cleans the window of accumulated emotional residue. This is essential work. You cannot hear a subtle symphony if you are standing next to a jackhammer. But once the noise begins to subside, you start to hear something else, a different quality of silence. Not the empty silence of absence, but the vibrant, potent silence of presence. This is not your silence. It is the silence of existence itself. It is the context in which all sounds arise and fall away. This peace is not something you create, and it is something you discover. It is not a product of your efforts, but the very source from which your efforts arise. Think of a lake. On the surface there are waves, your thoughts, your emotions, your daily struggles. You have been learning to calm those waves. But deep below the surface, in the profound depths, the water is still, calm, and utterly undisturbed by the weather above. This deep stillness is not affected by the presence or absence of waves. It is always there. Your journey is one of diving deep, of descending past the turbulent surface and into the silent, stable depths of your own awareness. The practices are your diving weights, helping you to sink below the churning mind and into the being that you are. This fundamental peace has certain qualities that distinguish it from the temporary peace of a quiet mind. The peace of a quiet mind is fragile. It can be shattered by a phone call, a negative comment, an unexpected bill. It is conditional. The peace of the depths is unshakable. It is not bothered by the surface weather. It is unconditional. It does not mean you become passive or indifferent. On the contrary, acting from this deep peace is far more powerful and effective because your actions are no longer fueled by desperation, fear, or the need to control outcomes. They arise from a place of centered clarity and compassion. How do we access this? How do we make the dive from the surface to the depths? The key is to stop doing and to start being. All the practices so far have been a subtle form of doing. You are focusing your attention, you are scanning your body, you are welcoming emotions. These are all movements of the mind. To touch the silent symphony, you must let go of all movement. You must allow all doing to cease and simply rest as being. This is the practice of profound objectless meditation. It is the practice of surrender. The greatest barrier to experiencing this depth is the seeker itself. The part of you that is striving for peace, that is trying to become peaceful, is itself a subtle form of agitation. It is a wave on the surface, searching for the depths while refusing to stop moving. The moment you stop seeking, you find. The moment you give up the struggle, you arrive. This is the great paradox. You cannot grasp this peace. You can only allow yourself to be grasped by it. You cannot find it. You can only realize you have never been separate from it. Let us engage in a practice designed not to do anything but to undo everything. It is a practice of letting go so completely that what remains is revealed. I call this the depth practice. It is the culmination of all our work so far. The practice, the depth, then find a comfortable, quiet place where you can sit undisturbed for 20-30 minutes. Step 1. Settle the instrument. Begin by using the anchor practice. Bring your awareness into the body. Feel the breath. Feel the sensations from your feet to the crown of your head. Allow the body to become heavy, relaxed, and deeply grounded. Do this for a few minutes, not as a goal, but as a way of settling the physical instrument. Step 2. Release the anchor. Now, gently release your focused attention on the body and the breath. Let them recede into the background. You are not pushing them away. You are simply letting them be without making them the object of your focus. Step 3. Open the field of awareness. Allow your awareness to expand in all directions. Don't focus on anything in particular. Instead, rest in a wide, open, spacious awareness. Notice that sounds are arising and passing away within this space. Notice that thoughts are appearing and disappearing within this space. Notice that bodily sensations are coming and going within this space. You are not any of these objects. You are the vast, aware space in which they all happen. Rest as this space. Step 4. The inquiries. Now, gently introduce these inquiries into the space of your awareness. Do not try to answer them intellectually. Let them sink in like a stone into a still pond, and simply notice what arises in the silence that follows. Who is aware? Ask this silently. Don't look for a name, a story, or a person. Look back toward the source of awareness itself. What is it that is knowing this present experience? Feel into the knowingness itself prior to any known thing. What remains when I let go of everything I am not? Silently, one by one, let go of all identifications. I am not the body. Let that go. I am not the thoughts. Let them go. I am not the emotions. Let them go. I am not the roles I play, the stories I tell, the past, the future. Let it all go. What is left when there is nothing to be? Don't grasp for an answer. Rest in the open, empty question. Is there peace here? Don't look for a feeling of peace. Simply ask the question and feel into the fundamental ground of your being. Is the awareness itself peaceful? Is the space itself disturbed by the objects within it? And step 5. Rest as being. After these inquiries, let them go completely. There is nothing to do, nothing to find, nowhere to go. Simply rest. Abide as this aware, spacious presence. Let go of the meditator. Let go of the one who is trying to be peaceful. Surrender all effort. If thoughts arise, let them. If sensations come, let them. You are the sky. You are the deep, still lake. You are the silent awareness in which the entire universe is appearing. Rest here for as long as you can. When you come out of this practice, you may not have had a dramatic experience. You may simply feel quiet. That is perfect. The depth is not a fireworks display. It is a subtle, fundamental shift in the background of your consciousness. The more you practice resting in this way, the more this deep peace will begin to infuse your daily life. You will carry the stillness of the depths with you into the chaos of the surface. The challenges of life will not disappear, but they will lose their power to disturb the core of who you are. You will realize that you are the silent symphony, and the noise of the world is just a fleeting melody playing within you. This is the peace that was never lost. This is the home that was never left. This is you. Chapter 8. The ecology of inner peace, weaving a life of conscious harmony. We have descended into the depths. We have touched the silent, unshakable peace that is the foundation of our being. This is a monumental discovery, a homecoming of the soul. But a question naturally arises, what now? Is this profound peace meant only for the meditation cushion, a secret refuge we visit in moments of solitude? Or is it meant for something more? Is it a seed that can grow, that can extend its roots and branches into every corner of our lives, transforming not only our inner world, but the very way we move through the outer world? This chapter is about that integration. It is about creating an ecology of inner peace, a sustainable, interconnected system where the insights from the cushion naturally blossom into the actions of our daily lives. The danger of any profound spiritual discovery is compartmentalization. We can have a breathtaking experience of oneness during meditation, only to snap at a barista an hour later because our coffee order is wrong. This disconnect is not a failure. It is the next frontier of the work. It reveals that the old conditioned patterns of reaction, the impatience, the judgment, the anxiety, are still deeply embedded in our nervous system and our mental habits. They are like well-worn footpaths in a forest. The path of peace is new, faint, and easily lost. For peace to become our default state, we must walk the new path so often that it becomes the main road, and the old paths of reactivity grow over from disuse. This is the work of a lifetime. It is the weaving of a new tapestry, thread by conscious thread. The principle that guides this integration is simple yet profound. Inner and outer are not separate. The way you hold your coffee cup is a reflection of the way you hold your awareness. The tone of voice you use with a stranger is a mirror of the inner dialogue you have with yourself. The rush you feel trying to get through your to-do list is the same frantic energy that scatters your mind during meditation. There is no hard line between your spiritual practice and your life. Your life is your spiritual practice. Every moment, no matter how mundane, is an opportunity to practice peace. Washing the dishes becomes a practice in sensory awareness. Waiting in line becomes a practice in patience and presence. A difficult conversation becomes a practice in compassionate listening and mindful speech. To build this ecology of peace, we must become gardeners of our own lives. We must tend to the soil of our daily routines, our relationships, our work, and our environment, ensuring that they are conducive to the growth of the seed of peace we have discovered. A seed of peace planted in the barren, compacted soil of a chaotic, overscheduled, and stimulus-saturated life will struggle to grow. We must prepare the ground. This involves a conscious audit of our lives, not from a place of judgment, but from a place of loving curiosity and intentional design. Let's explore the key ecosystems of our lives and how we can tend to them. The ecosystem of routine. Your daily routine is the architecture of your consciousness. A day that begins with a jarring alarm, a frantic scroll through news and emails, and a rushed breakfast is a day that starts on the back foot, already in a state of low-grade emergency. This sets a neurological tone of reactivity that can last for hours. Contrast this with a day that begins with even 5 minutes of silence, a conscious anchor practice, and a slow, mindful cup of tea. The latter primes your nervous system for presence and responsiveness. Look at your day. Where can you insert small, non-negotiable islands of peace? The first 5 minutes upon waking? A mindful walk during your lunch break? A technology curfew an hour before bed. These are not luxuries. They are the structural reinforcements for your inner stability. The ecosystem of relationships. Relationships are the fire where our peace is tested and tempered. It is easy to be peaceful alone on a cushion. It is another thing entirely to remain as the sky when your partner, your child, or your colleague is triggering a hurricane within you. Relationships become our most potent practice ground. The key is to shift from reactivity to response. Reactivity is the old conditioned path. It is the sharp word, the defensive posture, the withdrawal of love. It is the storm believing itself to be the sky. Responsiveness arises from the space of the observer. It is the moment you feel the heat of anger rise, but instead of lashing out, you take a conscious breath. You feel the sensation. You create a micro moment of space. From that space, a conscious, compassionate, and often more effective response can arise. This might mean saying, "I need a moment to process this," instead of launching a counterattack. It means listening to understand, not just to reply. It means seeing the other person not as an antagonist in your story, but as a fellow sky, temporarily lost in their own weather. The ecosystem of work. For many, work is the primary source of stress and the place where peace feels most elusive. The practice here is to find the sacred in the mundane. Whatever your work is, you can bring the qualities of the observer to it. Can you be fully present with the spreadsheet, feeling the keys under your fingers, noticing the subtle strain in your eyes, and bringing a gentle curiosity to the task? This is not about loving your job. It is about bringing love to your job through the quality of your attention. The practice of single tasking is a radical act of peace in a multitasking world. Choose one task. Give it your full, undivided attention for a set period. When the mind wanders to the dozen other things you have to do, gently guide it back to the single point of focus. This is a moving meditation. It transforms work from a source of scattered anxiety into a training ground for concentrated awareness. The ecosystem of environment. Your outer environment is a reflection and an amplifier of your inner environment. A cluttered, chaotic, and noisy physical space will make it exponentially harder to cultivate a clear, calm, and quiet mind. The ancient practice of feng shui is based on this principle, that the energy of a space affects the energy of the people in it. You don't need to be an expert. Start simply. Create one small sanctuary of order and beauty in your home. It could be a clean corner of a desk with a single candle or a plant. Make your bedroom a temple for rest, free from work-related objects and glowing screens. Notice how different environments make you feel. The goal is not sterile perfection, but intentionality. Curate your physical world to support your inner peace. To weave all of this together, we will learn a practice that acts as a loom, integrating these disparate threads into a single coherent fabric. It is a practice for the spaces between your formal meditation sessions. I call it the weaving practice. It doesn't the practice, the weaving. This is not a practice you set aside time for. It is a practice you live within. The intention. Upon waking, set a clear intention for the day, not a to-do list, but a quality of being. And you might say, today my intention is to move with ease, or today my intention is to listen deeply, or simply, today my intention is to remember I am the sky. The threads. Choose 3 to 5 anchor threads for your day. These are simple sensory cues that will remind you to return to presence. They are your loom's warp threads, the foundation. Examples. Every time my hands touch water, washing, drinking. Every time I pass through a doorway. Every time I hear a phone ring. Every time I come to a red light while driving. The weaving. As you move through your day, when you encounter one of your anchor threads, let it be a call to presence. It is a micro-meditation. For the duration of that action, while your hands are in the water, while you are walking through the doorway, bring your full awareness to the sensations of the moment. Feel the water, feel the movement of your body, feel the seat beneath you in the car. For just those few seconds, be fully here. Then continue with your day. The tapestry. At the end of the day before sleep, take 5 minutes to reflect, not on what you did, but on the quality of your awareness. When did you remember you were the sky? When did you forget? Without judgment, simply review the tapestry of your day. This reinforces the new neural pathways and brings a gentle close to the day's weaving. Building an ecology of peace is a gradual, organic process. There is no finish line. It is the joyful, lifelong work of creating a life that is not just lived, but consciously woven with the golden threads of presence, compassion, and the unshakable peace that you now know is your true nature. This is how the inner revolution becomes an outer transformation. This is how you become a living sanctuary, not just for yourself, but for a world that is desperately thirsty for the peace you carry within. Chapter 9, The Sovereign Self, Embodying Your Innate Power and Purpose. We have built an inner sanctuary. We have learned to weave threads of peace into the very fabric of our daily lives. We have moved from being victims of our internal weather to becoming skilled navigators and even alchemists of our inner world. Now we arrive at the natural, majestic culmination of this entire journey, the emergence of the sovereign self. This is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to who you have always been, prior to the conditioning, the traumas, the limiting beliefs, and the borrowed identities. It is about stepping fully into the authority, the power, and the purpose that are your birthright. What is the sovereign self? It is the you that is no longer at war with reality. It is the integration of the sky-like observer with the full, passionate, messy, and beautiful humanity of the personal self. It is not a disembodied spirit floating above it all. It is a fully embodied spirit, grounded in the physical world, acting with clarity, compassion, and unshakable conviction. The sovereign self is the ruler of its own inner kingdom. Its kingdom is the entirety of your inner experience. Your thoughts, your emotions, your body, your energy. A sovereign does not fight their own citizens. They listen to them, govern them with wisdom, and integrate their diverse needs for the good of the whole kingdom. Your anger is not an enemy to be exiled. It is a citizen with a message about boundaries. Your fear is not a coward to be shamed. It is a sentry trying to protect you. Your sadness is not a weakness to be hidden. It is a poet expressing the depth of your heart. The sovereign self welcomes all of them to the council table and listens to their counsel, but makes the final decision from a place of centered, conscious awareness. For most of our lives, we have lived as usurpers on our own throne. We have allowed external authorities, parents, teachers, culture, media, to dictate our laws. Their voices became the internalized critic, the relentless taskmaster, the voice of should and must that has governed our lives. We gave away our sovereignty in exchange for the illusion of safety and belonging. To reclaim your sovereignty is to dethrone this external committee and to take your rightful place as the sole legitimate authority of your own life. This is not an act of arrogance. It is an act of the most profound humility and responsibility. It is saying, no one else can live this life for me. No one else can know what is true for me. The buck stops here. This reclamation of power is often feared. We worry that if we truly own our power, we will become selfish, narcissistic, or disconnected from others. The exact opposite is true. The unsovereign self is the one that is truly selfish, because it is perpetually insecure, constantly looking to extract validation, safety, and worth from the outside world. It uses and manipulates others to feel whole. The sovereign self, because it is rooted in an internal wholeness, has no need to use anyone. Its power is not over others, but for life. It is a power that is expressed as love, creativity, and service. A tree that is strong and deeply rooted does not fear the other trees. It provides shelter and bears fruit for the entire ecosystem. Your sovereignty is a gift to the world. A critical aspect of sovereignty is the reclamation of your personal narrative. You have been telling yourself a story about who you are, a story assembled from childhood interpretations, past failures, and societal labels. I am not good enough. I am a victim of my circumstances. I am fundamentally broken. The sovereign self recognizes this as a story, not a truth. It possesses the power to put down the old, tattered manuscript and to begin writing a new one, not from a place of fantasy, but from the solid ground of present moment awareness and self-compassion. The new narrative is not "I am perfect," but "I am whole." It is not "I will never fail," but "My worth is not dependent on my success or failure." This is the power of conscious authorship over your own identity. This sovereignty naturally expresses itself as a sense of purpose. when you are no longer driven by the need to please others or to prove your worth, a deeper, quieter voice can be heard. This is the voice of your soul's calling. It is not necessarily a loud, dramatic calling to change the world in a single stroke. For most, it is a whisper, a pull, a deep sense of resonance with certain activities and a sense of dissonance with others. Your purpose is not a destination to be reached. It is a quality of being to be brought to everything you do. It is the unique flavor of your consciousness, the specific gift that only you can bring to the world. The sovereign self's primary mission is to align its life with this inner resonance, to make choices in work, in relationship, in creative expression that are in harmony with this soul song. Embodying the sovereign self is a practice. It is a moment-to-moment choice to respond from your center rather than react from your periphery. Let us engage in a powerful practice designed to cultivate this sovereign energy, especially in the face of challenges or difficult decisions. I call it the Council of the Self. The practice, the Council of the Self. This practice is best done with a journal, or simply in a quiet space where you can speak aloud. Step 1. Assume the throne. Sit upright in a dignified posture. Feel your feet rooted to the floor, your spine tall and regal, your crown lifted toward the sky. Take a few deep breaths into your low belly, your center of power. Feel yourself as the ruler of this vast inner kingdom. You are safe. You are in charge. And step 2, identify the situation. Bring to mind a current challenge, a difficult decision, or a situation where you feel conflicted or disempowered. Step 3, convene the council. You are now going to consciously listen to the different citizens or parts of yourself that have a stake in this situation. Give each one a voice. You can speak their part aloud or write it down. The protector, fear. This part's job is to keep you safe. Ask it, what are you afraid will happen? Let it speak its worst-case scenarios without judgment. Thank it for its vigilance. The judge, anger, resentment. This part's job is to uphold boundaries and justice. Ask it, what feels unfair? What boundary has been crossed? Let it express its righteous indignation. Thank it for its passion for justice. The vulnerable child, sadness, hurt. This part holds old pain and needs comfort. Ask it, what are you feeling? What do you need to feel safe and loved? Listen with immense compassion. Thank it for its honesty on the visionary, hope, desire. This part knows your deepest dreams and longings. Ask it, what is the most beautiful outcome you can imagine here? What does your heart truly want? Let it paint a picture of possibility. Thank it for its inspiration. Step 4. Return to the throne. Take a deep breath. Let go of all these roles. Come back to your centered sovereign awareness. You are not any one of these voices. You are the one who contains them all. Step 5. Make the sovereign's decree. From this place of integrated wholeness, having heard all the counsel, what is the wisest, most compassionate, and most aligned course of action? It may incorporate aspects of the different voices, but it will not be ruled by any one of them. It will be a decision that considers the well-being of the entire kingdom. Declare it, either aloud or in writing, as the sovereign of my life I choose to. This practice moves you from a state of internal civil war to one of integrated governance. It is a profound reclamation of your inner authority. The journey to the sovereign self is the journey from being a leaf tossed in the wind to being the great tree, deeply rooted and weatherproof, offering its unique shape and shade to the world. It is the final piece of the puzzle of inner peace. For peace is not a passive state. It is the dynamic, unshakable foundation from which a powerful, purposeful, and deeply loving life can finally be lived. You are no longer a seeker. You are a sovereign, and your entire life is the territory of your graceful, powerful, and peaceful rule. Chapter 10. The Unending Journey, Living as Peace. We have reached the final chapter of this leg of our journey together. We began by challenging the lie of external peace, and we end here at the threshold of a new way of being. We have navigated the anatomy of the inner storm, discovered the observer, anchored ourselves in the body, and sought refuge in the senses. We have learned the alchemy of welcoming our emotions, touched the silent depths of being, woven peace into the ecology of our daily lives, and finally claim the mantle of the sovereign self. This is not a conclusion, for a life of peace has no final destination. It is an initiation. It is the passing of the torch from these teachings into your own two hands. This chapter is about what it means to live as peace, to become a walking, breathing sanctuary in a world that has forgotten its own stillness. The peace you have cultivated is not a fragile vase to be placed on a high shelf, admired but never used. It is a living, breathing, resilient force. It is the staff you will lean on as you walk through the inevitable challenges and joys of a human life. There will be days when the sky of your awareness is clear and bright, and the sense of peace is as natural as breathing. And there will be days when the storms are so violent, the clouds so thick, that you will forget the sky exists altogether. This is not failure. This is the curriculum. The dark days are not an interruption of your peace. They are its most potent practice ground. It is in the midst of loss, anger, fear, and confusion that your commitment to this path is forged in fire. To live as peace is not to avoid the darkness, but to learn how to hold a candle within it. This candle is the simple, unwavering commitment to return. You will forget, you will fall asleep to your true nature and get lost in the old stories, the old reactions. The practice now and forever is to wake up and then to wake up again and again. Each time you remember, in the middle of an argument, in the grip of anxiety, in the throes of grief, to take one conscious breath and feel your feet on the floor. You are not failing. You are succeeding gloriously. You are proving to yourself that the pathway home is always available, always just one breath away. This relentless, compassionate return is the very essence of the journey. Living as peace will change your relationship with the world. You will begin to see the same struggles you have faced within yourself reflected in the eyes of others. The person who cuts you off in traffic is not a villain. They are a storm of hurry and anxiety. The colleague who speaks with sharp criticism is not your enemy. They are a sky that has forgotten its vastness, identified entirely with a dark cloud. This understanding does not mean you become a doormat. The sovereign self sets clear boundaries, but it does so from a place of compassion, not contempt. You can say no with the same peace with which you say yes. You can defend your space without declaring war on the other. Your peace becomes a non-violent force field, disarming conflicts before they even begin. Your very presence will become a healing balm. In a world frantic with doing, your state of grounded being will be a rare and calming gift. You will not need to preach or convert. Your calm in the emergency room, your patience in the long line, your deep listening in the conversation will speak louder than any words. You become a living reminder of what is possible, a stone of peace dropped into the turbulent pond of humanity. Your calm radiating outward in silent, unseen ripples that touch shores you will never visit. This is your service. This is your purpose expressed in its purest form. To be so utterly at peace with yourself that you give others permission to remember the peace within themselves. The tools you have gathered are yours for life. The anchor practice is your home. The sense grounding is your emergency kit. The welcoming practice is your alchemical laboratory. The depth practice is your sanctuary. The weaving practice is your loom. The counsel of the self is your throne room. Use them. Let them become as natural as brushing your teeth. Let your life become one continuous flowing practice of homecoming. There is no final state of perfection to achieve. The goal is not to become a statue of peace, frozen and unmoving. The goal is to become the ocean, dynamic, powerful, deep, and with an unshakable stillness at its core. The waves of life will continue to rise and fall. You will experience heartbreak and ecstasy, triumph and failure. Living as peace means you allow it all. You let the waves be waves, but you never forget that you are the ocean. You are the space for it all. This is the unending journey. It is the adventure of a lifetime, the only adventure that truly matters, the exploration of the infinite landscape of your own being. You are not broken, and you do not need to be fixed. You are not lacking, and you do not need to be filled. You are, and have always been, whole. You are the peace you have been seeking. You came here looking for a path, and you leave realizing you are the destination. You are the sky, you are the anchor, you are the sovereign, you are peace itself. Now, go and live as if you know it to be true. In every breath, in every step, in every encounter, the world is waiting for the gift that only you can bring, the gift of a heart that has come home. This journey does not have to end here. If this path has resonated with you, if you feel the call to go deeper, then declare your commitment. Let this be more than a video you watched. Let it be the day you chose your own freedom. Subscribe to this channel. By subscribing, you are not just passively consuming content, you are actively choosing to surround yourself with the reminders of your true nature. You are building a community of fellow travelers on the path of peace. Like this video if it served you, so the algorithm of consciousness can help us reach others who are feeling the same call. And most importantly, share it. Share it with a friend, a family member, someone you sense is yearning for a deeper peace. In sharing, you become a beacon, you become a guide, you become an active force for peace in our world. Your journey inspires another, and in that simple act, the circle of peace expands.